Hey everybody, this is Kyle Lacey, and this is another edition of the Bear Facts, and we have Jay Bear, and Jay Bear and I decided to wear purple on Valentine's Day, and I don't know why, but it was a good
So
idea.
great love for the musical artist Prince.
Absolutely. So today, what we're talking about is something that has been trending recently, which is LinkedIn's massive mailer or massive email campaign for the top 10%, 5%, 1%. And I actually would be surprised if they don't start sending out like you're the top 25% or the top 30% or 41%. Basically, what happened, for those of you that don't know, is that for the most viewed profiles, I'm guessing, so the top 1% of people that are most viewed on LinkedIn, which, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, is 2 million people, right? They received an email from LinkedIn saying, you are the top 1%, congratulations. And a bunch of people just started sharing it. And some people think it was a good marketing campaign. Some people think it's not. And some people are just pissed. So, Jay, what do you think?
It's interesting, Kyle. I have a lot of kind of conflicting thoughts about it. On one hand, congratulations to the email industry, since LinkedIn chose to use email to notify everybody. So well done, email. I don't know who sends their email, but bravo. Two, I think it's interesting because it speaks to the power of percentages over raw numbers, right? If you get an email, and you did, that says, hey, I'm in the 1% of LinkedIn profiles, you're clicking that sucker as fast as you can. If they said, hey, Kyle, congratulations, you're in the top 2 million LinkedIn profiles, which is the same thing, you're not as eager to click it, right?
Sure.
So there's an interesting psychology there that I think a lesson can be learned. But I also feel like it's interesting because it required people or forced people or encouraged people to kind of think about what's their relationship with LinkedIn, right? I'm in the top 1% of profiles too. But as a friend of mine, Adam Purnos, told me the other day on Twitter, he said, he clicked on that email and went to LinkedIn and then said, if I'm in the top 1%, why am I not using LinkedIn more? Why is LinkedIn not doing more for me or for my business, right? So it drew a lot of attention to LinkedIn, but I don't think always entirely positive attention. But I think the most interesting element of this whole campaign was the wide variety of people who got that email and then instantly shared it in some other social media venue. So took the email or the factoid that they were in the
Yeah.
1% and shared it on Facebook or shared it on Twitter or shared it on Pinterest or Instagram or bought billboard space or, created a hot air balloon or whatever. Like you, Kyle.
I know. I
Uh,
created a
and
hot air balloon. Actually, I
and
built a hot air balloon.
hot air balloon. And I just thought it was really interesting that sort of socially powered chest thumping, I thought, was a really interesting kind of humble brag scenario. And so that, is kind of a fascinating. And from that perspective, it obviously worked for LinkedIn. They got a lot of ripple in the pond awareness out of that. But the even more interesting part about it, in my estimation, was the massive, massive backlash, right? So
Yeah.
there were like armies of people wielding pitchforks and keyboards with torches. And anytime somebody posted something on Facebook or Twitter that said they were in the top 1% or 5%, they just came out in
Yeah.
comments in full force, like, you're an idiot and blah, blah, blah. We don't care. And it was a little bit nasty, right? Did you get some
Well,
flames on
no,
that?
I think that it was more of, for those of you who thought it was so, like in quotes, it was so awesome to be in the 1%. Here's what really happened. You're in the top 2 million and blah, blah, blah. And I was just sitting there thinking, number one, now I kind of feel like a D-bag because I shared it. And then I thought, it shouldn't matter, right? I mean, it shouldn't matter that I'm sharing something about me being in the 1% of LinkedIn because it's my social profile. It's
Right.
my
Yeah. It's
network.
look, what drives me crazy about social media is that we're all interconnected now, right? And that's
Yeah.
great. But we spend so much time worrying about the other guy and trying to police everybody else's social sharing. Don't share Farmville stuff with me. Don't share with me my LinkedIn 1%. You know what? If it bugs you, here's what you can do. Scroll down. And if you're really pissed off, you can delete the post or unfriend the person. It's not like I mailed or via FedEx like a live cobra to your house, right? Like, get some perspective. And if people spent more time worrying about themselves and playing their own game instead of playing all this ridiculous nonsense about worrying about you shared this and you shouldn't have, we'd all be way better off. Just like we were told in kindergarten, in social media, worry about yourself.
There you go. It's another edition of Bear Fact. We actually have an animal theme going on. We've got a cat, we've had a dog, and now a cobra. A very, very extreme.
In the comments, leave what animal you want me to reference next.
So thank you, Jay. That's another edition of Bear Facts. We'll see you next week.